All right, folks, for those who have joined, we'll be starting in just a minute or two. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who did not attend last week's session, there is a recording of that available. If you did not receive that last week, send me an email, and I will send you a copy of that link so you can look at it at your leisure. Don't worry about scrambling for my email address. I will be sending out material after today's session from my email account, so you will get that. All right, I'm showing 9 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and begin, and those who are still signing on can catch up as we go. Good morning, and welcome to today's webinar, the second part of a two-part series that Matt Stevens is leading for us on search engine optimization. Again, as I said before, if you did not have the opportunity to attend the first session, we will send you a link to the recording of that so you can look at it as you wish. My name is Jim Danhauser. I'm a volunteer with SCORE, and I just want to cover a couple of quick introductory items before turning things over to Matt. You see listed on this slide the organizations that provide support to SCORE in presenting this webinar. We're supported by the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, as well as the chambers located in the towns throughout Massachusetts and the islands, as well as by the Community Development Partnership in Eastham. And as always, we're very grateful to these organizations for their ongoing support of our educational efforts. For those of you who are not familiar with SCORE, we're a fully volunteer, nonprofit organization and a resource partner of the U.S. Small Business Administration. SCORE's mission is to foster vibrant small business communities through mentoring and education. We've been doing this work since our founding in 1964 through educational opportunities like this webinar and by providing mentoring assistance to people who are in business or who are thinking about starting a business. We benefit from having more than 50 volunteer mentors and subject matter experts here on the Cape and Islands, people with a broad array of differing business experience and expertise, and all of whom stand ready to provide assistance to you in your business activities. And the same holds true for all of the other chapters in our Massachusetts, Rhode Island district. So we're able to connect you also with volunteers throughout the country so we can make sure that you get for you a mentor who will have the right experience for your business and your issues. So if you'd like to pursue that mentoring help, all of which is completely free and absolutely confidential, there's a couple of ways to proceed. You can go to the SCORE National website, www.score.org, click on the Request a Mentor tab in the drop-down menu under the Find a Mentor tab, enter your zip code, and we'll do the matching for you. Or you can go to the website of the individual chapters in the Massachusetts, Rhode Island district that are listed here, click on the Found a Mentor tab, and you'll get going. Last preliminary, today's procedures. All participants other than Matt and myself have been muted. If you have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A feature. I'll be following them along as Matt does his discussion. And it's simply easier for me to do that if I don't have to toggle back and forth between the chat and the Q&A. We will answer as many questions as we possibly can during and after the presentation. And generally, we're able to get to everything that everybody has any questions about. Be aware that the webinar is being recorded. A link to the recording will be sent to all registrants sometime later today or tomorrow once it is available from the system. And I will be launching just a short poll before the end of the session. It's simply trying to get information to make sure that our programming is meeting the needs of our business communities. So I'd appreciate you responding to that before you leave. And with that, I'll turn it over to Matt.
Thanks as always, Jim. Hey everyone, my name is Matt Stevens. I'm a subject matter expert for the SCORE Cape Cod chapter in SEO. Today is actually our second part of a longer SEO webinar. The first part, I'm actually going to go over a little bit of it, but we talked about some of the main concepts of SEO. And today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into those. So bear with me while I share my screen. Awesome. Can Jim, can you see that?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's jump right in. We got a lot of slides to go through. So first and foremost, I wanted to go over the concepts of last week, mainly diving into the three that typically are the most important and also three of the most popular questions that we typically get. Keyword research, local SEO, and then ongoing SEO, which includes updating a website, creating quality content, and what's known as industry outreach. So last time on the SEO part one, we talked about what is SEO, right? SEO is the process of actually optimizing for the SERP, the search engine rankings page, utilizing keywords and optimizing your website or your listing or social media to respond well to the algorithm that's present within the search engine, right? A target market is the specific audience you are trying to reach with your content or your website in order to drive a specific intent, including navigational, informational, transactional, or commercial. And we're going to go into each one of those, so don't worry about it. We'll touch on it. And by knowing your target market, you can optimize your website to fit the keywords that make the most sense so that you're in front of the people that are going to actually make that conversion event happen. And then finally, what's a competitive advantage? That's the competitive advantage is that edge, right? That thing that sets you apart from every other competitor in the area. And we're going to talk about competitive advantage a lot during the local SEO section because, again, your locale is typically a differentiation factor that sets you apart from other businesses, right? But what if you don't have that? What if all your businesses that you're competing with are within Cape Cod? Well, then you need to find that competitive edge that maybe can take you a little bit higher and a little bit more distinct than a lot of the businesses within the area. So let's talk about keyword research, building the foundations of your website. So last time we talked about identifying keywords, right? We talked about the core, the fringe, and the niche. And I'll touch on them again, but real quick. Keywords are words or phrases that people use to search something online. And keywords aren't just on search engines, right? Keywords are also on social media, on forums, they're on TV, they're on YouTube. They're basically anywhere that you're going to be searching for something. iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, all that. Um, and by targeting those specific keywords that actually fit your business, you're going to be able to bring more users to your site and show up in more relevant search results. So when you're identifying the keywords for your business, the rule of thumb that I use is I create I call it the 1-3-10, but you can have 1 to 2 core keywords or 3 to 6 fringe, but you want to sit down with a pad and a pad and a pen and start writing up almost what looks like a keyword tree, right? You want to brainstorm a list of core keywords. So for an example, I always try to use an example. Let's use Chatham Bars Inn, one of the most widely known businesses on Cape Cod, specifically in Chatham. Their core keyword would be resort, right? You may even get specific and say they're a beachside resort. That's a core keyword because it distinctively identifies what their business's operations does on the greater scale. It's a high volume, it's high competition, and it's a short tail keyword. And a short tail we'll get into within one of the next slides. But just summing it up is it's between 1 and 5 words. It's a little bit harder to rank for. So you want to take that one core keyword and then use it as the basis of building your fringe, right? And those are all your main navigation pages. So on most websites, you're going to see an about page, a services page, a contact page, a shop page, whatever it may be. You want to identify the fringe keyword for each one of those pages that makes the most sense in conjunction with that core keyword. So if we're talking about Chatham Bars Inn, the about page may be Chatham's best known resort, right? No slight on Waukwauseet. I love them all, right? Um, but at the same time, you may see the services for Chatham Bars in, and you may just title it Beachside Resort Services, right? And you just want to get these keywords in mind so that you can structure your page in that way. And we'll talk about that a little later. And then finally, your niche keywords. Based on all of those different fringe keywords, what are the keywords that you can actually tackle, right? What are the ones that have low volume, low competition? Those are the ones that you're actually going to get the traffic for. It's going to be very difficult getting fringe and core traffic to your pages right out the gate because it comes from your authority. And your authority is something that it takes consistent traffic, site life, link networking in order to build it to a place where you can rank for some of those harder keywords, right? Like it says right here, high competition, and then niche is low competition. So another example you can see is right here, right? Florist, fringe would be rose or bouquet or maybe Harwich, and then your niche keywords, Valentine's Day rose, wedding bouquet, Harwich flower delivery.
And Matt,
Hmm.
somebody asked if you can maximize the screen.
Yeah, I can try it. How about actually this thing is pretty, is it really small? Um,
No, it's not really small. It's just if you could increase it a little bit, that'd be great. But I wouldn't spend a lot of time trying.
yeah, I don't know if I can. This thing is like pretty responsive, which is kind of impressive, but my apologies, guys. Um, so going into the next slide, we're talking about short tail and long tail keywords, right? We just talked about the difference in competition and the difference in volume. So a short tail keyword is typically broad general search terms, right? Consisting of one or two words. Um, but they're always a battle. They're always a fight. Say, for instance, a short tail keyword would be running shoes, right? Well, what do you expect when you search running shoes? Well, you're going to get New Balance, you're going to get Adidas, you're going to get Nike. You might even get like Jordans here and there, maybe On Clouds, maybe Allbirds, right? And if you produce running shoes, do you think that you'd be able to slide into that search engine rankings page? No way. You're not touching it. Unfortunately, those small short tail keywords are either going to be fought amongst the biggest companies in the country, unless you can find one that's very, very unknown, maybe a new industry or something that even you've created, or maybe a different trend that's just breaking out. A lot of times, those new industries have really good short tail keywords you can jump on. But a lot more of my time and a lot more of my recommendations towards clients as well as the businesses we help under the store umbrella is to find long tail keywords, the keywords that are a little bit longer than around 3, 4, 5 onwards in order to write blogs, create products, and even base pages on. And they're more specific, longer phrases that indicate or focus searching, right? So best running shoes for flat feet. Well, we know that the only people that are going to be seeing that are the people that actually are searching that, right? Running shoes is a broad keyword. A lot of people are going to be entering that area. Whereas best running shoes for flat feet, that's a very specific search that has an intent behind it. And what that's going to lead to is it's going to lead to more engagement as well as potentially more conversions. So what is intent, right? Well, searcher's intent comes in four slices. Jim, you can hear me, correct?
Yes, I can.
All right, sweet. I just got your internet connection is unstable, so I just wanted to double check. Um, so searcher's intent comes in four slices, right? You have informational intent, you have navigational intent, you have transactional intent, and you have commercial intent. Um, And these potentially are the most important part of keyword research because if you are not matching the intent, you can do a ton of this work, right? You can find your keywords, you can match it up on the pages, you can get people interested. But if you do not match their intent, they're going to bounce off of your page. I'll give you an example. One of my clients is a very fast growing art business, right? And it's a new industry where a lot of the keywords that he's looking for either A, don't exist, or B, they have informational intent rather than transactional intent. And his goal is to get people on his page in order to purchase specific brush sets, right? So when you have a situation like that where people actually want to purchase something, but you're only giving them information, or they're looking for information, but you're trying to get them to purchase something, there's a disconnect. And that leads to high bounce rates, very low stay rates, and it's actually going to affect your authority. So, what are the different intents so that you can be prepared in order to do this keyword research to the best of your ability? Well, you have informational intent, which people want to learn stuff. They want to type something in. And a lot of times, informational intent is dominated by right now Alexa and Google systems where people just ask Alexa, right? What's the weather look like today? Or did the Red Sox win last night? All that stuff is informational intent. They're trying to learn that answer. And a lot of times this is the cream of the crop of where you want your blog to be, is to teach people stuff about your product and to answer their questions. Navigational intent is awesome, but it's very hard to achieve. It's when more than 50% of the people that are searching a keyword want to go to a specific site. So a lot of times, like for instance, if I type in Nike, right? I want to go to Nike.com. So that's a navigational intent. I'm trying to get to that website. It's very hard to get there, specifically if you have a very common name as your business name. But it's definitely possible. And it's awesome because to an extent, if you type in Nike.com now, it's going to send you right to Nike.com. It's not even going to send you to the search engine rankings page. Transactional intent, people looking to make a purchase or complete a specific purchasing action, buying a subscription, buying a product, whatever it may be, buying a member's plan. They're trying to purchase a product. And a lot of times when you see search engine rankings page that are based on a transactional intent or transactional keyword, what do you see? Well, you're going to see Google Merchant Center with all of their Google products. You're going to see Amazon listings. You're going to see more products. Very rarely do you see site listings of a place where people can actually click to go to your website. They're going to showcase each one of your products. And that's why each product, it's important to optimize as well so that they show up for those transactional keywords. And then finally, your commercial intent. I wrote commercial investigation. That was a mistake. This is when people are looking to book a service, right? Either hire you to come and mow the lawn, hire you to do their hair, hire you to do their nails, hire you to consult with their business, whatever it may be. They are looking to hire a particular service. So different than the products, there's really no photos or no product listings to showcase on the search engine rankings page. So what's going to happen? Well, first they prioritize local listings. So a business consultant that's local to you, and they're going to show that in the local pack, which is the Google My Business platform. And then right under there, then you'll get the the site links where it's each different website and then maybe the service that best matches with that keyword. So that's how intent works. But if you really analyze and look at those four things, it's going to help with your keyword research. And when you do your keyword research, there's a lot of different tools that you can use out there. Some are extremely overpriced to the point where you're better just asking an expert to really do it for you. Whereas some are completely free and they actually give you some really good information. Me personally, I use SEMrush. SEMrush, in my opinion, is the best tool in the game. It's also the most expensive. And it's because, again, this is my job, right? I am a subject matter expert. I spend a lot of time on SEMrush. I know how it works. RFs or Hrefs, depending on how you pronounce it, and Moz are two other really solid SEO companies. But again, they are very high in price. But they are going to give you a lot of distinct information. The beautiful thing about all the paid tools is a lot of them have a free trial. So if you're just trying to get some quick answers and get going, I would definitely lean towards those paid tools. Just make sure you cancel your free trial. Uber Suggest is a really good tool. It's one that we actually talked about last week. And this one gives you about 5 free per day. So you can check out some of those keywords on a rolling basis. But it's only $29 a month and up. And then you have Spyfool and Mangools, which are both also pretty solid tools. But if you're looking at Spyfool and Mangools, I would recommend just looking into Moz, Ahrefs, or SEMrush, depending on your business's needs. I know that every business is built differently. I would definitely weigh the options. Spyfu is a really affordable variation of like a Moz or a Ahrefs. Uber Suggest is a little bit more granular. It's a pretty solid option. So definitely weigh those paid tools. My favorite way of researching keywords is actually using Google, right? You can use Google Search Console to see what keywords you're showing up for. You can use the keyword planner within Google in order to plan your ads. Answer Socrates, and also Answer the Public are ways where you can look up trends, right? And Google Trends is very similar as well. But you can type in questions and you can see amplifying keywords that also might make sense for your business, right? So if you looked up, what are the best running shoes? Then I would say, what are the best running shoes for flat feet? What are the best running shoes for like high bridges? What are the best running shoes for like I guess larger feet? Um, the worst running shoes. All those amplifying keywords that might make the most sense for your business. Google's incredible. Google, you can literally look on Google and you can do all the keyword research that you need for free. And the reason I say that is because it provides tools that are going to give you an insight into what are people looking at when it comes to this keyword. And those come through on these two sections that people also ask in the related searches, right? So, for instance, if I type in backpacking tents is a short tail keyword. It's 2 words and fight for backpacking tents with North Face, Patagonia, REI, Land's End, like big companies. All right, because you don't really need to lean into backpacking tents on that level. Maybe instead you look at some of the people also at related searches. People also ask are questions that people are specifically asking when related to that core keyword, right? What tents do backpackers use? What is the best size tent for backpacking? How heavy is too heavy for a backpacking tent? And what are backpacking tents so expensive? Are all informational keywords, right? They're all things that people are asking where you need to provide an answer. And if you are selling backpacking tents, they're questions that are actually going to be asked by your target audience because before they purchase a backpacking tent, they want to know that information and they want to have that question answered. Additionally, the related searches are all the things that people are searching for on a long tail level. Ultralight backpacking tent 2 person. That's a long tail keyword that you could also look into for maybe a product keyword. Best ultralight tent for two people. That's a good informational keyword that you can probably answer, or maybe give 3 or 4 different options. MSR tents, Z-Packs tents, Big Agnes tents are probably all different brand names, so you may want to steer clear of those. And then ultralight backpacking tent for 1 person. That's another long tail keyword you can write for. And this works for every keyword. You can type it into Google and just scroll down and see if there's a people also ask. It's usually right up at the top, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom and you can see the related searches. And that's an easy way to do your keyword research for free and really get the most out of your time that you're spending doing it. So how do we use keywords, right? I mean, we're talking about how important these things are. Well, how do we actually put it on the page? Well, you do that using a structure that's almost built like a spider web, right? Your home page is your core keyword. That's the thing that tells Google, hey, by the way, this is what it's about. So for score, right? Our core keyword could potentially be small business help or small business advisors or small business mentors, right? That's our core keyword. Everything else is spiraling around the outside to catch those visitors and bring them in towards the middle pages, right? You have your homepage, the center of your brand. You want to use your core keyword on the page, right? And then your navigation pages. the things that we talked about services. You want to use your fringe keywords. And one of the reasons I told you guys to walk through it in a way where you start with the keywords is that's going to allow you to build these pages based on those keywords, right? Um, so the blogs and your products are going to be your niche keywords, stuff that you gathered for your first pieces of content within that exercise. And in order to really enhance your page for those things, you need to position your pages and incorporate the chosen keyword into your SEO meta title, meta description. Although it's not imperative to build a meta description, it is very important. Do not leave a meta description empty, and at least one on-page placement, preferably in a higher heading, right? So maybe the H1, which is the big title on your page, right at the top. You want to put your keyword in there. If you can't do it in your H1, no worries. Try to put it in your H2. Each page should at the very least have H1s and H2s. I typically build most pages for myself with 3 different types of headings, your H1, your H2, and your H3. And the reason that you do this is because you're structuring for Google how that page should be interpreted. What is the most important thing that is being referenced within the page? Put it in the H1. What are important things, but not the most important, or maybe even subsets of the most important? Put them in the H2. All right, what are subtopics of each of those H2s? We'll put them in the H3. And that's how you really want to structure your page. It's also great if you can add your keyword in the first 100 words. If you can't, no worries. And maybe even in the last 100 words. And if you have any images on your page, you want to fill out the alt text and make sure that the images are going to be indexed with that keyword in mind. So, like we just talked about, the header tags, it makes it easy for users and the search engine, what is known as the crawler, to navigate and understand your content. But on each page, after setting up your meta title, you want to make sure that you're leaning into that intent that we talked about, right? So if it's a product page, you want to make sure that it shows as a product page, maybe using categories or different subdomains. If it is an informational keyword, you want to make sure that that shows within the meta title, the meta description, and even the URL slug. So when I say the URL, if you look at the top of my screen right now, you see tome.app/Chatham Oaks/SEO2 dash a ton of numbers, right? That's not good. That's not a good URL at all. If I had to optimize this page, I would change it to maybe a beginner SEO course, part 2, right? So you want to make sure that your URL, if possible, fits that keyword you're looking to add to your page. And if you can't do that, it's not that big of a deal, but make it so it's easily readable by people that are plugging it in, right? Or if you're linking to it on other pages so they know where they're going, rather than if you're linking or making a hyperlink to that up there, they're going to look at that. They're going to be like, I don't know if I want to go over there, you know? And then finally, that keyword usage, like we talked about, titles, headings, body text, image alt tags. Most websites allow you to edit the metadata behind images. You just want to click it, add your alt text, and then finally the URLs, right? But don't do it too much. You want to limit your keyword usage. You don't want to put it in every other line. I would say 7 is the absolute maximum. You really don't want to go above 7. If 7, even that is pushing towards the grounds of being like, okay, your keyword stuffing. 5 to 7 is a good number. Even 3 is good. Just don't go over 7. That is a big no-no. So that wraps up the keyword research portion of it. Before I move on, I wanted to make sure I answered any questions. And I believe,
If let me give you some, Matt. Can you
please.
discuss transactional intent in relation to a service that would not necessarily be purchased through the website? For
Yeah, so
example, consulting.
that's a great question. So that's actually commercial intent, right? So the biggest difference between commercial and transactional, right? Transactional is people are purchasing a product. They are purchasing a like specifically something that either they hold in their hands or that they're going to be able to download, or maybe that they're going to get shipped to their house, right? It's a product. The commercial intent, which is really what you're talking about, is a service, right? Even like product service offerings, like a package of services would still be commercial intent because they're actually looking to book something. But if it's not through the website in relation to that service, optimizing for that is a little bit difficult. The way that I would recommend doing it is you want to start creating specific content surrounding that ideal, each that link to that particular page, right? Because if that's off the website, it's not getting the authority from the rest of your site. So you want to make sure that you're pointing people towards it. The next one, Jim.
The max keyword usage, 5 to 7. Does that also include the image tags?
No, that's a great question. Sally, great question. The image tags, if you have like 50 images on your page, if you want to create alt text for all of them, it does not count for those image tags for the most part. I would say if you have 50 images on your page, you'd really want to not use the exact same keyword for each one of those images. You'd want to find amplifying keywords, aka keywords that are similar. For instance, when we did that related searches on Google, you would want to find those related searches to the keyword that you're using. Things that might be a little bit similar.
We have a question on local search, but I think we'll hold that, Matt,
Hold
until
that
you
for
get.
sure.
Then there's one other question. What do you get with the higher priced keyword search options that you don't get with the free or lower priced options?
Oh man, this is a whole can of worms. Great question, Martha. The higher price keywords, they are built to really encapsulate everything that you do on the search engine, right? SEMrush, Moz, Ahrefs, not only do they do keyword research, they help you with backlinks, they help you with organic traffic insights, competitor analysis, keyword gap analysis. And that's kind of why I leaned into if you are going to sign up for one of those higher paid options, I would absolutely consult with an SEO technician in your area to figure out if you really need one of those. For the most part, I would say the free trial is perfect for keyword research and maybe running a site audit and figuring out where your site stands. And if you can do that, that's perfect. That's all you really want to do. Um, Delving into the more advanced options in there, you may want to even take it if you don't want to hire an SEO technician to kind of consult with you on that type of stuff. I would suggest taking a course. SEMrush offers a lot of their courses, and even I know Ahrefs does as well, or Ahrefs, depending on how you pronounce it, right within that free trial. So you can use that free trial and actually listen to a course. And then Google, I believe, has their own search engine course as well. So there's a lot of tools in there. So it can get overwhelming very fast. And that's why I try to steer a lot of people that are just getting into it just to Google to start, or if they really want a little bit more insight, including the keyword difficulty, which is how hard it is to place, the volume, and also the rich snippets that are involved. That can be found within the keyword research tools, within the top three, as well as Uber Suggest and SpyFu.
Okay, go ahead, Matt.
Sweet. So moving on to local SEO. I actually love this slide. This is one of my favorite slides. Look at this picture of Manhattan. I mean, we did this last week, guys. So, do you think that's all the pizza in Manhattan? No freaking way. No way. There's so many pizza places in Manhattan. You can do the same thing for Boston. You can do the same thing for basically any city in the world, right? And when you type in pizza near me, what pops up? Well, it's pizza near you, right? That's the greatest keyword possible, are the near me keywords. And a lot of businesses, I'm sure, that are on this call right now are local businesses. They're businesses that operate in a locale. That's phenomenal. That's the best thing that you could possibly do. National businesses are great too. I'm not saying that if you only operate online that you're at a disadvantage. The only place that you are at a disadvantage is when it comes to local SEO. Um, so how are you supposed to optimize your local SEO? Well, we didn't talk about that last week, but we're for sure going to talk about it this week. The number one way is to optimize your Google My Business listing. This is something that if you have not done right now, as soon as you get off this call, no matter what time you have, 150% are doing this. And by claiming and verifying your Google My Business listing, and then ensuring that you are NAP formatted, which is name, address, phone number, up to date and consistent across all other listings, you're going to show up in what is known as the local pack, right? So when I look up from my place of residence in West Chatham, this is what comes up, right? North Chatham Outfitters. So this is outdoor stores near me. So you have North Chatham Outfitters, Nickerson State Park store, and then Eastern Mountain Sports. It's going to show up within the map so that I can go ahead and easily access the directions. I can easily access booking, takeout links, the website, the phone number, the hours, whatever I need in order to actually do business. And it is by far the most beneficial way to get local traffic and sales, bar none. Like there is no greater local SEO strategy than just loading and updating your Google My Business page. There's nothing better. That's why it's so important to get reviews, because as you can see, high reviews, high reviews. But there's a lot of factors that go into your Google My Business page, right? Um, One of the things that I would recommend doing with your Google My Business page is staying consistent. A lot of people, what they do is they set it up and then they rely solely on reviews. That's not good. Reviews are great. They're going to keep you consistent, and it's going to show Google that, okay, yeah, there's a lot of people that are actually going to this place and using the services. But you need to remain consistent in two facets. You need to show Google that you're consistently working on your business page by adding posts, creating events, updating your description, updating your hours, and just staying active. And then the second way is you want to make sure that it's accessible, right? You want to make sure that everything that someone would need in order to engage with your business is right there. You want to make sure that your services, your category, and your description are optimized with the keywords that you want to be found with. And specifically with your category, you want to make sure that you fit the category your business actually does. But within your description, making sure that you amplify some of those services or some of the products that you offer within your business. Very, very important to get that done. Other local SEO strategies including local location specific keywords in your website's title tags, meta descriptions, headers, and content. I have an entire page on my website strictly for Cape Cod because Cape Cod is a central point of my business. Most of what I do, I'm located on Cape Cod, and a lot of what I do is within the Cape Cod community because I love it here, and I want to make sure that I help the community that I am in, and that's reflected within the business and what I do. You want to make sure that you create that NAP formatting to your website's header, footer, contact page, because that address is going to help Google pinpoint exactly where you are. So that near me keywords, yeah, you're going to get the local pack first, but then there's site links right underneath that. Maybe your page shows up in those site links. Embed a Google Maps widget on your contact page or in your footer to help users easily locate your business. This one I'm kind of torn on because it's going to affect your speed. I would say that if you are a business that relies on customer walk-ins, aka like appointments, people coming to your location, right? This is pretty good to have on your contact page because it's going to allow people right from your contact page to plug your address into their Google Maps. However, that's Google Maps, right? Say they use Apple Maps or Waze. Well, then it may not be as great because Google My Business allows you to open it up not only on Google Maps, but also they should allow you to open it up on Waze. So you really want to make sure that you just provide that address so that when people click it, it defaults to their mobile device on what GPS service they use. And then finally, ensure your website is mobile friendly. And this one is very, very important. 80% of all website visits nowadays are on mobile devices. You need to be mobile friendly. If you haven't checked your mobile, how your site shows up on your mobile device, you absolutely need to double check that because that could be really killing how you're showing up within your local search results. Awesome. Some more stuff. Build local citations. You want to make sure that you can actually create almost like what is known as a link network within your local area, right? Create or update your business listings within local directories like Better Business Bureau, Brooks and Dunn, not Brooks and Dunn, that's a country, Dun and Bradstreet, I believe it is.
Yes.
Brooks and Dunn. Jeez Louise. I got country on my mind. Um, Another one, Yellow Pages, right? White Pages. Um, all of those places, although people probably don't look on the Yellow Pages anymore, right? They just go to Google. What that's doing is it's pushing the authority of that page to your page, and it's saying, hey, by the way, this is a verified business. They exist, right? And if you have your number, your address, and your phone number, or your name, address, and phone number all specific and consistent, it's going to give a lot more credence to that authority. Reach out to local bloggers, news outlets, industry websites for features, guest blog posts, which result in local backlinks. And the reason backlinks are so important, like we just went over, is it's pushing that publication's authority towards your page. Most businesses don't understand that behind the scenes, there's what is known as an authority score to your website. And most businesses right now, as we stand today, I guarantee you, are under 10 authority out of 100. In all industries, it's not that bad. But if you're vying for some of those harder keywords to achieve, it's going to have an effect on your rankings because you are going to be competing with people that might have authority scores of 30, 40, 50, 60, and upwards. People usually generate backlinks to businesses that you see nowadays before SEO was a thing by life cycle. They started their businesses way back here and they've grown it year after year by creating great products, doing promotions, reaching out to the community, doing all this type of stuff. And over time, their authority has grown, just like most businesses do. However, if you're just starting out, you got to do a lot of the heavy lifting right away if you want to build your authority score. And that means going to those local bloggers, your news outlets, industry websites within the area, and creating these relationships in a way that's going to boost your own website, but also contribute to theirs and contribute that value that you know that you can provide to their readers or their subscribers or whatever it may be. And the last thing is engage with your local community, participate in local initiatives, collaborate with other businesses, because this increases that visibility. But also, a lot of those businesses for sure are going to benefit from your backlinking and your collaboration, but you're also going to benefit from their backlinking. And that way, you foster this community of businesses helping businesses that sometimes it's okay to share a little bit of that secret sauce because at the core of it, you want to make sure that you have value, overcome that secrecy. You want to make sure that people know that when they come to your business or when they're doing business with some of your partners, that you may generate a referral from there or you may build that authority up a little bit more. And that really is what's going to bring you that extra mile that you need. So Google My Business does not apply to online businesses. So if you are running an online business with no location, it does not apply. So what do? Right? So now it requires an address or a service area. And if you do not have one of those things, and a service area, just to clarify, is an area where you would basically carry out house visits or location visits to your clients, right? Say, for instance, you're a landscaper, right? Chances are you're not going to be able to drive to Pennsylvania to do landscaping work, but chances are you could probably go, if you're operating in Cape Cod, you could go to Plymouth. So you'd want to add that to your service area. But if you don't have a service area, if you're not visiting your clients at their locations, and you're also not, if you don't have a distinct brick and mortar address yet, there's really no way that you can get a Google My Business page. So the what I would recommend is really focus on some of the other strategies we talked about, like writing local location-based content, engage with that location, gather the backlinks, answer popular questions within your local area. But say, for instance, you are like a consulting company and you do virtual visits, you could create what is known as a hybrid business on Google My Business. And that requires you to use your house as your location, but you can also hide your address on Google My Business by using that service area. So for instance, when I was first starting out, I did this. I had my house is located somewhere in Chatham. So what I did is I used that address, and then I created my service area within Cape Cod. So it hides my address. Google still shows me in my service area, but that allows me to A, carry out some of those location visits that I've done, but also conduct my business online, which again, a lot of businesses are doing nowadays. It's just the verification steps to Google My Business have gotten more difficult and more difficult as time has gone on. So if you've already have it set up, you're already at an advantage here. All right, so I'll answer some questions before going into ongoing SEO.
Okay, first, how do you determine your authority score?
Yeah, so that's remember we talked about a site audit. You can do that with SEMrush, Moz, or RFs or Hrefs. You want to create or basically just audit your site. And there's a lot of sites out there that will actually tell you your authority score. The best one I would recommend is just going to SEMrush and looking that up. That is going to give you an idea of where you sit in your SEO strategy. And a lot of times, a lot of the clients and even some of the people we talk to at Score come into the meeting saying, "Oh yeah, I'm very well known in the area. I have a lot of brand presence, all this type of stuff." And that's when we run the site audit, and then they're sitting at 2, 3, 4 authority out of 100. That's a huge wake up call, and it should be a huge wake up call because unfortunately, the search engine awareness is a lot different than your personal community awareness. And it's okay to have a small authority score, but every business wants to grow. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to build that authority score. So keep checking back in and using those tools. But I believe the best way to look that up is just using SEMrush.
To what extent is local search important? I think you've answered that, but different vendors looking to get my business show me tens or hundreds of different search locations where my business locates and information doesn't appear or something is incorrect. Most of these places nobody's ever heard of. How much
Yeah.
time, effort, and or cash should I be spending to fix these?
So that's one thing that has slowly happened to the SEO industry is most of you that are on this call have probably gotten an email saying that your website stinks or that you're not located at a lot of those directories or that you're not backlinking, so you're falling behind. Don't fall for the scare tactics. Everyone's road is different. Um, and a lot of times when they're using those scare tactics, they want to sign you up to then complete what is known as black backlisting, right? And what they're going to do is put your information on sites that may have a good authority score, but due to a lot of the core updates from Google within the recent years, those are black hat backlinks, right? And what that's going to do is it's actually going to maybe even penalize you on your traffic. So I always say focus on the most important directories that you know of. Start with the ones you know: Yellow Pages, White Pages, Better Business Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce. Those directories that actually have a lot of credence within the area. And then focus on the location-based ones, right? Cape Cod, all the Cape Cod directories that you can find. You want to be part of that. And if it takes some cash to get on, like again, Chamber of Commerce, that's not free. You gotta pay your membership dues. A lot of times I'd say that's worth it just being within that community, but it's all based on your business's need. If you don't need to do that, take it at your own pace. It's not something you have to do overnight and you have to throw everything onto the back burner in order to get it done. But chipping away at them is definitely going to be extremely beneficial as time goes on.
Could you once again explain using a service area and hiding the physical address?
Yes. So when you're signing up for Google My Business, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you designate yourself as a hybrid business. And a hybrid business is you have an address, but you conduct your business in a service area, right? So when you're signing up, you're going to put in an address. And if you distinguish the service area, it's going to prompt you to then hide your address. You just want to click and make sure that you do that. My Google My Business right now actually unverified because I have just changed my location, changed my office, and as soon as you do that, Google is like, hey, that's kind of sus. So right now my Google My Business is down, and the only way that I'm going to get it back up is I'm actually heading down to the Cape to make sure that I can verify my Google My Business. Right now I'm off Cape, but it happened last week. So now again, it threw me for a loop. I got to get back down to the Cape and make sure that I go ahead and verify. That could happen to you, and if it does, don't worry. Don't like it's not that big of a deal. You just need to go through the verification process. And no matter if you're a hybrid or just a regular address or regular service area, you have to record a video. And I swear to God, I'm like, this is the process now. There's no more postcards. You have to record a video of your surroundings, aka your street, any businesses or buildings that are around you. Then you need to prove that you own the building by either unlocking the door or showing the deed to the business. And then you have to showcase that your business name is correct by showing a business card or even an incorporation document. They do not play around anymore, unfortunately. It is very tough to get verified. Sometimes you have to talk it through with one of their supervisors. But yeah, so that's typically how a hybrid business works, and that's how the process works. But just make sure that you get all that stuff up and running as soon as possible, guys. Awesome. Anything else, Jim?
There are, but you may want to move on,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll get to the rest at the end.
Yeah, we
We're running out of time
got a
otherwise.
few more. So it never ends, right? SEO is not an overnight thing. It's not an on-off switch. You're never gonna wake up to a million site visitors the day after you set it up, unless you go viral on TikTok. It's definitely possible. But it's definitely more than capable delivering a few thousand to tens of thousands, even a million people to your site. And it takes work on content, the backlinking we talked about, consistency in web updates, and it takes time, trial, error, and continued learning. You need to be a lifelong learner for SEO. But here's some things to pay attention to for continued SEO success. Number one is your organic traffic. You need to have some way of identifying how many people are on your site. Tools I would use are Google Analytics and Google Search Console. Both are completely free and very easy to get. I would recommend Google Analytics. However, I know that it's a tool that might be a little scary because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But if you already have a Google Analytics set up, that's really all you need. You just need to monitor, okay, how are people getting to my site? Where are they looking? Where are they bouncing? So that you can make changes. Content updates. Anything that you wrote 2 years ago, you need to refresh as time goes on, right? If you're publishing a blog or if you're publishing YouTube, or if you're publishing products, you want to make sure that you go back into those things every once in a while. I try to do them every 3 months for the clients that I work with, but I know that that is close to impossible for a lot of businesses. So if you can try to get to it once a year, that's a huge, huge, huge method. And if you stagger them, right? If you do like maybe one a week, what that's going to do is it's going to show that you're consistently on your site and optimizing different stuff. That's awesome to Google. User engagement. What are those different KPIs that we talked about with Google Analytics? What are people doing when they get to your site? Are they bouncing? And then competitor analysis. Keep an eye on those potential competitors, see what they're doing, because a lot of times what they're doing and what you're not doing may overlap, and you may want to change your strategy based on what they're doing. And then the website pivot. And this is something that you can seriously consider after identifying some of those keywords that you may not have seen is pivot the website in general. I've done it twice this year. Before last year, I was a digital marketing firm. I don't do digital marketing as much as I once did, right? When I first started, I'm a technology guy. That's what I'm good at. Um, and identifying where your target audience is and getting more and more notes and learning and understanding, just like you would do in the greater scheme of business and marketing, that applies to your website, right? You need to pivot your website. So look at those data sources in Google Analytics and your website builder software. Monitor the engagements, monitor the pages you have active, see what people are doing. Compare the numbers with numbers before SEO positioning, or set benchmarks right now and then pivot and then test different things, right? Maybe you test different structure of pages. Maybe you test different product pages. And you want to make sure that you're learning consistently on your website, just like in little small phases. You don't need to upend everything within your website, but testing is so important. And then use that to change that page positioning. Research new keywords, consult SEO technicians for other ways to optimize your back pages, add new pages or remove old ones based on activity, and then also mix and match with the text, the photos, the headings, in order to improve those positions. Creating good content. This is something we graced over last time. Just real quick, you want to focus on these seven, and well, I'll send you this. We'll send you this slide as well. I know Jim mentioned that. Relevance to your topic, quality and depth. You typically want to be the big fish, right? Whatever is currently ranking for that, take that, add a little bit to it. Readability and structure. Make sure that it fits the readability essence of your audience. If you're marketing to college kids, make sure that it's probably a little bit more advanced for them to read. If you're marketing for kids, you want to make sure that it's very easy for them to read. If you're marketing to adults with a doctorate, right? Obviously, you want to get that readability that's a little bit more hard, that speaks to them, right? Originality, don't use AI tools to write your blogs. You want to make sure that they're original, they're not found anywhere else. You can use them to help you write blogs, but don't write the entire blog with AI tools. Keyword optimization, just make sure that you're optimizing blogs like you would optimize your regular pages. And then regular updates. Just make sure that you maintain a consistent publishing schedule. This is probably one of the most important thing. I try to publish as much as I humanly can, because that shows that you have a consistency on your website. And then industry outreach. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so we talked about that a little bit. But here are 4 ways you can build backlinks that I swear by, right? The number one is creating high quality content. The best possible content, and Google actually prefers this, right? They've rolled out a core update that said we strategically would rather you publish good content than do guest posts or create bad content with AI and do a ton of it, right? They just want really solid content that naturally attracts backlinks, right, from other websites. You can share those articles and get backlinks on social media. You can share it with people within your network and see if they want to share it on their own website. And the more authoritative and helpful it is, other sites are more likely to link to it. Guest blogging is when you find a business that is a complementary service or a complementary business, that you guys can both create blogs on each other's websites. What that's going to do is it's going to allow you to create more content, but also it's going to backlink directly to your site from their site, and you share that, what we call link juice, right? Your authority. Build relationships. The best thing that you can do within your community is build great relationships with other businesses, because the guest blogging opportunities as well as collaboration opportunities for maybe products may pop up, right? You may be able to do a crossover between within Chatham, maybe like Chatham Clothing Company and the duck shop, right? The rubber duck shop. Maybe you put rubber ducks on a shirt, and again, it's a Chatham based idea. And then finally, leverage local partnerships like we just talked about, and sponsorships. Partner with those local businesses, organizations, and events that are relative to what you are doing, and then offer your services, sponsor those events, collaborate on projects. Just make sure that you're asking, hey, could you link back to my website? Remember, it's essential to focus on acquiring the high quality and relevant websites, right? The stuff that are within your industry, because poor quality or spammy links, like we talked about, can negatively affect your search rankings. Here's some sites that I would recommend jumping on, right? Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, industry memberships or associations within your particular industry, Yelp, Yellow Pages, TripAdvisor. I think someone actually asked, does Yelp have help authority? Absolutely. They are very good with it. And then clients, employees, or customers, provide a link to your site from their blog or website, or provide promotions for product or service reviews on other people's websites. A few different ways. Just want to make sure that it's organic. You don't want to shove your link on other people's websites. That is not what I want you to do at all. Just make sure that you create that community because business is always easier to run. Like everyone says, it takes a village. Business is always easier to run when you have a network of support behind you. But guys, that's it for now. SEO changes on a daily basis. It's never the same. I have to keep up for it so that you don't have to. Next year, this may be a different presentation. I made a few tweaks and changes from last time we did this. So stay tuned and join up next time when we do it, and we'll run through some stuff. But in the meantime, let's answer some questions.
What are your thoughts about using Linktree?
Linktree is great. Good, big fan of Linktree. I'd say any way that you can generate engagements right out of a social media or uh, that's basically a landing page provider. Linktree is really good though because they do offer follow backlinks, right? So they push the link juice from linktree.com to your website. They're a really good page.
A way to know if and how many clicks you're getting from backlinks from another blog or website?
Jim, repeat that one more time. I'm sorry.
Is there a way to know if and how many clicks you're getting from backlinks from another blog or website?
Yeah, so that's one of those things that we talked about with SEMrush and Moz and in Ahrefs is they use what's known as a backlink audit. They'll show you where people are coming from. Another way to do that is through Google Analytics, right? When you're setting up those backlinks, maybe you create a URL for them. And then when people click that URL, you can actually identify where they're coming from. It's similar to an affiliate link if you've ever used one of those. Those affiliate links are literally that company creating a URL for you to then put on your site, and that's a backlink to their site, but they're also benefiting because you might be selling their product. And affiliate marketing, that's what people are typically doing is giving them authority if they're building those content farms and pushing users to that website. So yeah, a backlink audit would be the easiest way to do that.
If we've been featured on someone's blog or in a new article, should we then link to that feature or article podcast on a press page on our own site? Or is there a better way to increase authority score once we start getting featured by other outlets?
Yeah, if you're linked to on someone else's website, I would recommend going to them and just making sure that they've linked to your website. And if they have, that's it. I would definitely if you're being shown in different publications, a press page is never a bad idea because it's going to show your readers, your audience, and your target market, hey, look, we have authority, and that's going to show Google as well, and that always helps.
When you say updating blogs, should you just change the date published or is it or just edit or add to the content?
That's a great question. I would recommend editing certain aspects of the content. Maybe the easiest thing to edit and what I typically try to do is edit the SEO placement. Um, for when I do reoptimizations, I look at what the blog is being shown for or specified for, see if it's doing well, and then if it's not, or even if it is, I either try to focus or change a little bit on that meta description, or I change the meta title if it's not doing well. And then maybe some of the on-page stuff, I would see if there's anything that might be a little outdated, and that would be a good reoptimization.
When you share a blog on LinkedIn, is that considered a backlink?
That's what is known as a no follow backlink. We didn't talk about follow versus no follow. No follows are basically saying, hey, yeah, we're pointing to your site, but we're not giving you the authority. It's basically like it's basically getting authority in the eyes of Google. At the same time, you're not getting the link juice that's going to push your authority score up. It's a very weird dance of how they've built those, but it's still really good. There's no bad backlinks.
I'm connected to several associations that produce a lot of relevant, fresh content. I'm thinking of placing some of that in my blog page, then commenting on that on my main page. Does that make sense?
I would say it can't hurt if you're referencing their blog within your site, you're giving them a backlink. If I would say it's not going to generally affect your site too much. However, what it does do is it gives you content, and that's a win. if you can then write stuff about those blogs and comment on them, Mike, it's going to help you because it's going to allow you to make your site more consistent and more active. And Google loves that.
Could you tell us how SEO technicians work with businesses?
Yeah, so it completely depends on the SEO technician. What I would recommend, the best thing that you can do is search out local SEO technicians because there's a lot of the SEO industry right now is tough. There's a lot of people that are trying to get into it and they're leaning too much into certain areas of it. And you have a lot of specialized SEO technicians, some that only specialize in backlinks, some that only specialize in on-page and technical SEO. Um, the best thing that you can do is find one that's either local to you or one that is referred to you by someone that is verified, like a business that you typically do work with. And what they'll do is they'll come in. The first thing that we typically do is we go in and we run a site audit to give all the information that you need to where your site is right now, your authority score, your backlinks, your keyword traffic, your keyword number, the volume, competitors, um, maybe even content opportunities. And then after that, you set up a strategy, an ongoing strategy. Okay, here's all the stuff that we have in our benchmark report, our site audit. Where do we go from here? What do we want to focus on? Do we want to focus on content, backlinking? Um, Me personally, I don't lean too much into backlinking. I focus a lot on industry outreach, which is a lot of the guest blogging, the finding opportunities within the niche. I don't really go and set up backlinks on like directories and stuff like that. Just because a lot of times when I'm focusing on clients or also the people that we help within SCORE, a lot of times we focus on the content and identifying how do they grow from the site out rather than focusing on other sites to boost them. Like I said, the best way to really generate backlinks is producing great content.
And if you're having trouble locating an SEO technician to assist you, you might think about just going to your local SCORE office and working
Yes,
with a mentor who can bring in, most chapters will have a subject matter expert who can handle SEO for you. And that might be a way quickly to get somebody who's qualified.
that is by far the best way to do it. I mean, if you go to SCORE, they have those subject matter experts that specialize in all facets of SEO, and the mentor has the um the wherewithal to actually pair you with the one that's going to be best fit for your business. Um, that's typically how the process starts. And again, if you want to work with one within the Cape Cod area, the best thing that you can do to jump in is to go write the SCORE and get yourself a mentor easily.
And remember, we told you how to do that.
Yes, we did.
Two quick questions, and that's really all we're going to have time for, but I appreciate everybody's attention and input. Can Blogger at Google be used as a website to promote the services instead of using a paid subscription service?
So, blogger at Google. Hold on, I just gotta. Can you repeat that one more time?
Can Blogger at Google be used as a website to promote the services instead of using a paid subscription website?
I would say if you want to use a free site, use Google Sites. Google Sites has you can create a free Google site right off of a Google My Business. I would really recommend from an expert perspective to look into the paid website options. Your website is the face of your business online, and it is by far worth the money to make sure that you have a well optimized website. Um, but again, if you want to use a free website, that's totally fine too. I would definitely use Google Sites, which you can build right off your Google My Business.
Martha, in answer to your question, all SCORE mentoring is
It's
free
free.
and
Yes,
confidential. That does not mean that you would get, working through SCORE with an SEO technician, a full suite of assistance. You would get an hour or so of help in trying to figure out what you can do and where you can go.
absolutely.
Do you have any recommendation about courses to learn more about SEO and all related courses?
If you want to learn anything about SEO, the best thing that you could possibly do is identify what your business needs help with. And the easiest way to do that is to talk to a score mentor and really talk that through. Because then again, you'll have an hour of curated educational information that's based on your business specifically. If you do want to encapsulate some information before that, I would definitely check YouTube. There's a zillion SEO courses out there. However, they're not all the same. What I would recommend doing is leaning into the ones that are created on SEMrush or any that are within the Google, like the Google Education Learning Platform. Those are the two that I would say probably have the most credence. People can say anything on YouTube, and not all of it is correct. I mean, I've watched a few that are not really that correct on YouTube myself. So just be careful with that.
Also recognize that SEO, as Matt said, changes all the time.
All the time.
So you won't do yourself any service by looking at a YouTube video that was made 4 years ago.
Yes.
Look at more recent ones.
I'm actually there was a core update 2 days ago. So I mean it's a brand new algorithm.
Okay, folks, I appreciate everybody's time and attention. I think this has given everybody a great deal of information. We'll be sending out, as I mentioned, the link to the recording in the next day or two, and look forward to trying to provide more help to more people as we go forward. Matt, thanks a bunch for your time and expertise. This has been a great program for people. Thank you.
Jim, thanks as always. Guys, thanks so much for taking some time out of your Tuesday to join me and Jim here and talk about some pretty in-depth stuff. Looking forward to the next one.
Take care, everybody.